Hey everyone, and welcome back to Bridging the Gap. Make sure to leave a like on this video down below and subscribe. My name is Alvin. I lean right on most issues, and I'll be representing the Republican side.
My name is Luke. I lean left on most issues, and I'll be representing the Democratic side. Hey guys, so in this video, Alvin and I will be giving you our bipartisan takes on the results of the New Jersey gubernatorial election. So yeah, the results are in. We've had an election, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah.
Yeah, first big election on the national radar since the Wisconsin Supreme Court election a few months ago. And now we have a nominee on both sides. We've narrowed it down from 11 candidates down to two for the general election. I know you said you have a lot of thoughts to get into, so I'll let you go first here. Let's start with the Democrat side.
Yes. So I mean, I guess we'll start with a general overview, I guess, before kind of getting into it. Like, let's just say what
Let's do
happened. Let's
everyone
look at the big
eliminated and
notes.
then we'll talk about the Mikey, yeah?
Well, I feel like we should
Or how do
start
you
with
want
the
to do it?
main event
All
first.
right, let's just talk
Mikey
about it.
Sherrill won. We'll get that out first.
Okay.
Mikey Sherrill won. We expected her to win. Congresswoman from Morris County. She's represented like 10% of the state in the past. Pretty standard Democrat. She beat out the progressives. She beat out the moderates. She won. We start with that, I think. Um, Solid 34% of the vote. I would like to note our prediction was pretty spot on.
Mine was
Um,
perfect, I will say that.
Yours, well, it
On
was
Mikey.
point
On
it's
Mikey.
point it's 0.1% off. But yeah,
6% of the vote has to come in, so I'm confident
you know
we'll
what?
get there.
That's fair enough. Fair enough. But for primary, I'm gonna say we were pretty accurate there. But anyway, some notes on Mikey Sherrill here. As I think she largely did, I mean, of course, as you see in the general margins, as we expected, super strong margins in the northern suburbs of the state. She killed there. She got super big margins from the Hudson County, that North Jersey machine. She won Hudson County. That is not something I expected, but the votes she got there was enough to win. And another interesting fact here is even though she got like a smaller proportion of the vote, she managed to win lots of South Jersey counties as well. Um, so overall, pretty solid performance across the state. She's a Dem nominee. Um, yeah, where do you want to go from that? Do you want to just kind of move to the other Democrats and see how they all performed?
Yeah, I guess I'll also touch on this Mikey Sherrill win. I will say, I mean, it is exactly how expected in terms of how well she particular
Yeah.
particularly did. Also, though, I will say that some of the candidates further down overperformed expectations and underperformed,
Hmm.
particularly. Ross Baraka definitely overperformed my expectations. Winning a county outside of Essex was very
Yeah.
impressive for me. And also Sean Spiller coming out here and winning a county as well, albeit barely. I did not expect him to get anywhere close to 11% of the vote. I thought he was going to get around
Yeah.
5. I thought he was going to absolutely flop. Some flop candidates, I guess I guess they're calling him Steve Flop now. I really expected him to at least win Hudson County here. I know his margin got eaten too by Ross Baraka, especially in a lot of those heavy black neighborhoods. But that's very disappointing for Steve Fulop now. Josh Gottheimer, I expect him to do better than under 12%. That was a very weak showing from him. He did win Bergen County, but I expect him to do slightly better out, like in the at least in the neighboring counties and maybe in those like suburbs or central Jersey where there's more moderate voters. I thought he would do decently there. No, he kind of just let the machine run all over him and Mikey Sherrill. I guess that the Hudson County Democratic machine turning away from him last minute really hurt his chances. And then Steve Sweeney, I guess, he did worse than I expected, but he wasn't really a factor anyway.
Okay. I largely agree with most of your takes. I'm going to now elaborate on a lot more of them. I think we now go to the Vote Hub precinct map, so I can better break
Yes,
down what
we
I
could do
saw
that.
in this primary here. I guess we'll start with we can start with South Jersey here, okay?
Okay.
Um, like Okay, so here, South Jersey, I just want to note first, this map isn't complete. They don't have precinct data for every precinct in the state yet. That's hence the big dark spots. But um, South Jersey, it was interesting this race because the main South Jersey candidate, Steve Sweeney, did very, very poorly. Dead last with not like 7% of the vote, didn't even hit double digits. That's interesting because the South Jersey machine was going to pump out votes for him. That was the expectation. He won his home county, Gloucester County, and a district, a county he used to represent, Salem. But beyond that, his showings were really weak. He lost a lot of the other districts, and it looked like Sean Spiller, who we expected to do really poorly and get less than 10% in our predictions, his campaign was entirely funded by teachers unions. Um, and he ended up winning a county in South Jersey. It looks like he managed to fill that void in South Jersey, that candidate void. Like a substantial portion of South Jersey voters um, didn't really like because most of the candidates were North Jersey, including Spiller himself. They didn't want to go to Sweeney. It seems like a lot of those people who didn't want to go to Sweeney went to Spiller down there. So hence his margins being better than we expected. Moving up the state a little bit to that green blotch in Lakewood, you see, right in Atlantic County. That's a very Jewish community. Those are areas where Josh Gottheimer did really well. I think he won like 60% of the Lakewood vote in that city. It's the third largest city in Jersey. Um, and yeah, so like along with his main big county, Bergen County, he did super well among Jewish voters. But um, the problem for him is his margins in Bergen County, even though he won it, weren't the greatest. 37% of the vote in your home county is like kind of mid, especially when you compare to Cheryl, who won 60% of her home county, not her home county, Morris, but a county she significantly represents. Um, Beyond that, after Gottheimer, I would say we can go to North Jersey, the North Jersey cities, the main two here, Jersey City and Newark. So Jersey City, the home of Mayor Stephen Fulop, actually did not go very hard for Fulop. It only, I think, roughly, I don't even think he got a majority. I think he got like 45-ish% of the vote, 40-ish, like 40 something percent of the vote in the city of Jersey City, the city he represents, because Baraka really took a massive chunk of the Black and Hispanic communities in the south of Jersey City. And he ended up winning like 25% of the city's vote. And then you add that to Newark, his home city, where he's winning 70% of the vote. Baraka, something notable about Baraka is he just the reason he did so much better than we expected is that he did so good in these communities of color all across the state, um, even beyond Newark, and those communities in Jersey City, but Patterson, Trenton, even in progressive communities like New Brunswick, and him cutting into progressives is part of why Philip did so poorly. And then obviously you just had Mikey Sherrill riding the wave of everything else to victory. Sorry, that was
Yeah,
my big spiel there. Um,
yes, for sure. I mean, you covered a lot, so I don't even know where I want to expand, but I guess in terms of Mikey Sherrill, very impressive how she was able to actually generate so much momentum across the. I think this does show that the county machine slash county power structure is not dead yet. Yes, the county line is dead, the system in New Jersey
yes,
where the basically whoever ruled the county just got to choose who people voted for because of how the ballots were structured. But I don't think the county system is dead at all. A lot of these counties where Mikey Sherrill was able to win that county nomination, she was able to convert their local power structure in order to help her. I mean, across the state, she won numerous endorsements in terms
yeah,
of like across the Democratic committees. And yes, I guess part of it is that you get that endorsed by that committee in your name next to you on the ballot. But most of it is the get out the vote machine that's just behind them. It's a lot of
yeah,
resources. Each county employs a certain amount of individuals that are obviously very passionate about democratic politics. Otherwise, they wouldn't be in that role. And they are getting paid to basically just tell people to get out and vote for Cheryl 24/7. I mean, that's what they are told to do. To get told, tell people and hand out flyers, do everything possible at full time, and that is still very strong. And so the county power and the powers that be in those counties are still very strong, and we definitely have
Yeah.
to acknowledge that.
A
And
a note on that. Oh,
go ahead.
sorry. Yeah, like a note on that is like I think it is a little more it's a little more black and white in the fact that I would agree, like if you want to go back to the vote hub thing, that you could say the North Jersey machine is still alive and kicking. Like if you want to go to the North Hudson County, that's like the heart of the North Jersey Democratic machine. They endorsed Mikey Sherrill. And that whole Union City area, like north of Jersey City, that's like the heart of that machine. They put out they pumped the vote up for Mikey Sherrill
Yeah.
in that area, and we were able to win her the whole county there. Meanwhile, a counter argument could be that, you know, South Jersey, where the South Jersey machine endorsed Steve Sweeney, he kind of sputtered out and crashed down there. Like he did pretty poorly, um, winning only like 20-ish% of the vote in some of those counties.
Yes, you
So
do have an
varying
argument
results.
there. I do think part of it is also just strategic voting, though. However, most voters probably know Steve Sweeney is, he was likely to come in fifth or sixth. He came in last. So I don't know. I guess part of it is strategic voting, part of it is, the county structure. But either way, very, very, I guess it was a strong performance from Mikey. I don't know. 34%
Yeah,
is exactly how
we ex
it
yeah
is what I expected. I wouldn't
we
say
expected
very
it.
strong. It was basically what I expected, a decent win. I will say 21% at second place is definitely closer than I thought. I mean, it's definitely not closer than what you thought. You thought Steve Phillip would get 22%, but Ross Brock getting 21 is,
Yeah,
there is
Baraka
there is a definitely
wowed me. I'm not gonna
significant
lie.
like progressive slash far left voting base that it's definitely going to be Mikey's job to unite the party after this at
I
34%.
think she can.
And I think she's definitely going to be able to. She's definitely going to leak a few votes from like Josh, maybe, and maybe Steve Sweeney to the Republicans. But she should be able to consolidate everyone on her left. I don't know. Maybe there'll be a big scandal about her APAC money, but otherwise, I think she'll be able to get it done. And
Yeah,
regardless, she has the machine behind her, regardless. So,
yes. I mean, she's one of the cleaner people running. I don't think she has any like really notable scandals. Like
no,
the
she's
top two
very clean.
candidates. Yeah, so like that's pretty good for corruption wise. You know, Jersey getting all its corrupt politicians. It's good.
Yeah,
In
the
that
most
sense, it might
corrupt
be
guy
good.
got last and second to
That's
last, so
true.
that's cool.
This is
Sh
true.
should we move on?
Yes, let's go
Okay,
to the
speaking of
Republicans.
uniting the party, this guy won't have to do too much of it. Jack Ciattarelli, he hung on with basically 68%, higher than our expectation. We thought he would get around 50, the high 50s. He really
Hmm.
smashed our expectations, especially
He
early in
did.
the night. We thought he was going to get like in the 70s. We were very surprised, but settling around the 68 range, still very much above our expectations by 10 points, which is a lot. And I did not expect him to do the worst in Central Jersey, but I guess that's what it ended up happening. Do you want to talk about that, or I mean,
Yeah, like a potential explanation I read about is that Bill Spadillo was trying to run to the right of Ciattarelli, and he was trying to put up a fight and win over those MAGA voters, even though Trump ended up endorsing Ciattarelli. An explanation for him doing slightly better in Central Jersey is that his radio station is actually based in Central Jersey and radiates
that's
out from there. So the farther you are from Central Jersey, like the less you're like you can connect to his radio station.
that
So
makes sense.
potentially like there's I read there was a correlation between his vote share and that. So I guess that does make some sense there. And so enough to see a little light red stripe, but overall, all Ciattarelli won all 21 counties in the state, pretty handily.
Yeah, for sure. And I think he's definitely going to be able to unite the party as well. Bill Spadea here, his votes will certainly go to Chitterley, I think, because Spadea voters are going to be further left, further right, I should say, of Chitterelli, and Chitterelli also has the Trump endorsement, which is going to move these voters to him. For example, 2021, he was very hesitant to support Trump. Maybe these people would have stayed home. But they're going to go to Shirley. Maybe that endorsement will hurt him net, though. We don't really know. But regardless, it's happened. I was surprised this many people got out to vote on the Republican primary, though. 457,000. It is obviously markedly less than the Democrat primary, but this one was much more competitive, so can't really draw conclusions from there. But I thought this was, like a lot of people
Yeah,
that turned out
both
actually
primaries
for
hit
this.
record numbers. I heard in
Yeah.
terms of turnout.
So yeah,
Um,
regardless, I don't know. Should we turn to the general election, or do you want to talk about Republicans at all?
I think we can move on to the general. The Republicans pretty self-explanatory. We knew
Yeah,
Citarelli would win big. He won big. There we go.
you want even
But
bigger.
but yeah, he did win bigger than we expected for sure. Um, Now going to the general election. So we have two like basically middle of the road, not maybe not middle of the road, it's not the best way to put it. Maybe
Center, left, and
standard
center. Yes.
Democrat, yeah, standard
Standard,
Republican,
standard.
both like basically like the median Democrat and median Republican running for New Jersey governor here. Um, we have one poll out. It just dropped today. It's from a group that supported Mikey Sherrill in the primary, so it is likely Dem skewed. But it starts off before any of the general election campaigning with Mikey Sherrill up 13 points against Jack Ciattarelli. Um, so, I mean, obviously, that's a good poll for Sherrill. It has her above 50% to start, um, and with 12% undecided. I mean, generally, like I think my priors, I think Cheryl will end up winning by like 9, 10-ish points. If I had to guess now, I think more independent polling would be ideal, and kind of seeing how the campaigns go. But I definitely think this does reflect my belief that Mikey Sherrill is the favorite in this race right now.
Yeah, I mean, this poll is whack. Honest, I can't really support, putting much credibility in this poll. I mean, let's look at the 2021 polling if we really want to compare this. And you can see that a lot of these, like for example, this opening poll around the same time that's biased for the Democrat internals. Has Phil Murphy up 11 and he ended up winning by three. So something like this, I would put pretty much no weight into. I mean, let's see
I mean,
what
it's
the
the only
next
data we
polling
have.
says. It is the only data we have. I'm honestly very surprised that no other pollsters polled this. I mean, I know they would technically have had to weight everyone, but I mean, come on. Towards the last month, it was pretty clear it's going to be Mikey v. Jack. You could have done some polling, but everyone seemed to pull out of the race for some reason after mid-May, so that was weird. Regardless, though, yeah, we're gonna need some more polling. But even if the polling shows like Mikey plus 7 to 8, like it did for Phil Murphy in 2021, I'm not gonna be convinced. I'm probably still gonna be putting this in lean Democrat, no matter what the polling says. At least for a while, unless it's like consistently double-digit polling for Cheryl. I just think the polling will continue to underestimate Jack in this race. So, I mean,
I mean,
yeah, that's
there's
sort of what I have to say.
There's no doubt Citarelli is a strong candidate, especially if you want to look at what he did in 2021. He got the race really close against an incumbent. But again, that was a much friendlier environment to Republicans back in 2021 and that early backlash to Joe Biden. So Mikey Sherrill, I think, is in a much stronger position in that she's going to have the Trump backlash effect. Democrats turning out against Trump. She's going to have that going for her. Also, representing a swingy district, outrunning Harris by like 7 points in her district. I think she's very formidable. And in a lot of those areas, Jack made gains. For example, Morris County, which he won in 2021. That's where Cheryl is strongest. So I don't know, like his room to get voters might shrink in lieu of Cheryl being in this race. And then also, I would say beyond just the one poll we have, the super early Dem skewed poll we have, we also have the betting markets. And the betting markets uh, also indicate that Cheryl is a very clear favorite as of right now, which I definitely think makes sense. D plus six state in a year that's where we're starting to see some backlash to the Trump presidency. I think she's in a very, very good position.
Okay, you do have a point. The obvious counter argument, of course, is 2024. Of course, I have to present that argument here, or else it's malpractice for me. And I mean, yeah, just look at the shifts. I mean, the thing is, if you actually look at the fact that in 2020, Joe Biden won the state by 16 points, and Kamala Harris ended up winning it by 6 points. There is definitely clear movement of New Jersey towards being a purple state. It is, I guess, still light blue as of right now. But the national environment is going to be, friendlier towards Mikey. However, the state environment is going to be friendlier towards Jack. And I think that right now that about cancels it out. Even if you just account for the fact that 2024 was about 5, 6 points redder nationally. The state still shifted 10 points to the right, or 11 points, I guess you could say. So really, we're seeing like a 5 point shift to the right on net, or trend, I guess. I don't know what people want to call it. But after you do that, and then you say, look, maybe the national environment is 5 points more blue, though. However, it kind of cancels out. Phil Murphy, yes, I think Mikey Sherrill is a better candidate than Phil Murphy, maybe slightly. However, Phil Murphy was an incumbent. That maybe cancels out too. And I think at the end of the day, we're still sort of at a Mikey plus 2 to 3. So I'm not convinced, but maybe the polling will get me in a bit. So yeah, but
Yeah, I don't
but
know.
betting markets 75 to 80. I think that's very valid. Jack has an outside shot is basically what
Yeah,
I would say.
I agree. An outside shot is fair. I don't he's by no means the favorite, right? And
Nope.
he's gotten close to upsets, but I don't know. I just think it being a worse environment for him, like I've struggled to see how he pulls it out. There's a chance, like that you know maybe 8 years of Phil Murphy has really worn on people. Um, like if he ties Cheryl enough to a status quo, maybe that could help him. But again, I'm just thinking primary turnout is probably going the low turnout in primaries and the people who are going to turn out in those primaries. I just think they're gonna be more Cheryl skewed. Um, but yeah, I don't know. That's my 2 cents at least. Yeah.
Yeah, that's about it. I mean, well, Jack probably has better odds than Trump 2016, maybe around Trump 2016 odds. I don't know. But regardless, that's about all we have for you today. So please leave a like on this video down below. Comment down below any future video suggestions and make sure to subscribe if you're new. Thanks for watching.
See you guys.